Yes. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Can you all hear me properly? Good morning, everybody. Good morning, and welcome back to yet another supremely amazing and a super cool NCERT marking and highlight series from your favorite Biopoint. Stream the world of bio in front of you for NEET and Boards 2023 Biopoint Jwala batch with an NCERT marking series of the chapter Living World. Can you all hear me properly? First of all, please make sure that you all can see the screen clearly and you can all hear me properly. Just verify these two things first of all. Yes, and hit thumbs up on the chat box if both the things are perfectly clear for everybody. Audio, video, everything is clear. You can hit the chat box with thumbs up. Yes. So, how many of you in the class have already bought your 11th standard NCERT textbooks? How many of you have already bought your NCERT textbooks of your class 11th? So if you have already bought out your textbooks, then you can actually mark the lines. Okay. You can actually mark the NCERT line, which I am going to highlight on the screen in your NCERT textbook itself. And others, if you can take out previous your brothers, your seniors, or somebody nearby your home. You can buy their textbook, or else I have already shared the PDF in the group after the class. You can actually take a printout of either the PDF of the session, or you can take out the printout of the NCERT textbook, which we have already shared in the group. Yes, good morning, everybody. And first of all, let me tell you what this NCERT marking session demands for. Every concept, whatever topics you have doubt, you have to ask me. I would be explaining. And what's the main objective or main motto is like, what all things you have to concentrate while you are reading the NCERT textbook. Okay, I won't be explaining it as a detailed class. I would be just highlighting or underlining those questions or points which are already asked in NEET exams, or which have chances of asking in either board exams or you about the last part of the chapter taxonomical aids. Yes, Miss May, everything is same. CBSE and state board, everything is same. Your paper pattern only be different, but rest everything would be the same. Okay, taxonomical aids lecture would be definitely coming tomorrow itself, and tomorrow maybe you guys will be having two classes because Amilsa may have to complete the taxonomical aids, and after that I would be coming out with the next chapter for your class 11th biology, that is zoology part. I would be coming out with the animal kingdom chapter. Okay, so let's get into the classes. Those who are brand new to the channel, don't forget to join our Telegram group, t.me/neat_biopoint. The direct link of the discussion group is provided on the description box. Guys, hit the chat box with hearts on the screen. The chat box is remaining like something. It's very silent. So please have the Josh in the class and make the chat box active. Actually, Vismay, yes, state boards and CBSE boards would be having the same questions, but the pattern of the question paper would be different. Yes, thank you so much, guys. So, those who are watching the session, don't forget to hit the like button, do share it with your friends, and subscribe this channel. Okay, so let's get started into this chapter, that is the living world. NCERT is there on the screen. Those who doesn't have NCERT, listen carefully. Okay, and those who have the NCERT, you can read it from your book. Others have to read with along with me as I read on the screen. Clear, everybody? So let's get started. How wonderful is the living world? The wide range of living types is amazing. The extraordinary habit which we find living organism, whether it can be mountains. Okay, we can find living organism in mountains, we can find living organisms in forests, we can find them in ocean, freshwater, lakes, desert, or even in hot springs also. So just imagine how wonderful God have created each and everything around us, right? Every organism or every substance around us has their own importance. So the beauty of a galloping horse, of the migrating birds, the valley of flowers, or the attacking shark evolves even a deep sense of wonder. The ecological conflict and cooperation among members of a population and among population of a community, or even the molecular traffic inside a cell, make us deeply reflect on what indeed is life. So guys, tell me on the chat box, what are the 4 different properties, or what are the different properties that you use to distinguish between living and non-living things on the chat box? I would give you 30 seconds to answer the question. I would give you 30 seconds to answer the question. What are the different properties that you use to distinguish living and non-organisms? Yes, guys, fast. I hope everybody can copy. Please be fast. Don't wait. What are the 4 different properties that makes difference between living and non-living things? Very good. Very. Oh, is my voice breaking? For everybody, is the voice breaking? Difference between living and non-living things. What about others? Abhijit, Vismaya, Om Prakash. Is my audio breaking? Is my audio breaking, guys? Please reply. You have to tell me fast. Yes. 1 second. 1 second. Please wait for 1 second. Let me change the internet. 1 minute. Okay, in 1 minute. Yeah, if it's fine. If it's fine, just wait for just 5 seconds. It would be okay. Okay. And if it's not at all becoming okay, so please do tell me. Yes, everybody have told me the correct answer. Growth, metabolism, reproduction, consciousness are different properties. Cellular organization, metabolism, reproduction, consciousness are different properties. Cellular organization and that cellular organization, characteristic features of living organisms. Is it everyone? So let's discuss right now what is living. Okay, let's discuss what is living. When we try to define living, we conventionally look for distinctive characteristics to sense environment and mount a suitable response. Come to your mind. Okay. One second. Now is it fine? Guys, what about now? Is it fine? Yes, everything is perfecto, right? Is the screen also visible? Perfect. So, when we try to define living, we conventionally look for distinctive characters exhibited by living organisms. Right now, we won't be doing NCERT questions, Vismaya. We will be only highlighting the important points. Okay, we would do a separate session for doing the back exercises of NCERT problems. Okay. So growth, reproduction, ability to sense environment are some of the unique features of living organism. One can add a few more features like metabolism, ability to self-replicate. So what are the different features? Growth, reproduction, ability to sense surrounding, metabolism, ability to self-replicate, self-organize, interact and emerge. To this list, let us try to understand each of these in detail. So we are going to have a detailed study about everything. All living organisms grow. And I know that nobody is going to forget this statement. Increase in mass and increase in number of individuals are the twin characteristics of growth. Previous year, at least 10 or 12 times repeated MCQ question. NEET previous year MCQ question. Okay. Increase in mass and increase in the number of individuals are the twin characteristic of growth. A multicellular organism grows by cell division. Okay, a multicellular organism grows by cell division. In plants, this growth by cell division occurs continuously throughout their lifespan. Self-organize means they organize themselves. For example, like cellular arrangement may be there. So a group of cells may be organizing themselves to form tissues. A group of tissues just forms organ. Okay, that is the meaning of self-organization by living organisms or living cells. Okay, so this is also a previous year. Whatever I am highlighting on the screen are previous year questions. Okay, this is also a previous year question. In plants, the growth by cell division occurs. Yes, self-replicate means reproduction. Reproduction, for example, dividing of DNA, dividing of a cell, all those comes under self-replication, replicating or duplication by itself. In animals, this growth is seen only up to a certain age. So in animals, the growth is limited, whereas in plants, the growth is continuous. However, cell division occurs in certain tissues to replace lost cell. This is also an important previous year question. Important previous year question, everyone. Unicellular organisms grow by cell division. Okay, unicellular organism. This is also previous year NEET MCQ. Okay, unicellular organisms. Unicellular organisms grows by cell division. One can easily observe this in vitro by simply counting the number of cells under the microscope. In majority of higher plants and animals, this is also a previous year MCQ. In majority of animals and plants, growth and reproduction are mutually exclusive events. Okay, one must remember that increase in body mass is considered as growth. Non-living objects also grow if we take body mass as a criterion for growth. Mountains, boulders, sand mounds do grow. However, this kind of growth exhibited by non-living objects is by accumulation of material. Okay, this is also a question. Growth exhibited by non-living object is by the accumulation of material on the surface. That is extrinsic growth. Okay, that is extrinsic growth. Whereas in living organism, it is intrinsic growth. That is, growth is from inside. Okay, growth is from inside in living organisms, whereas in non-living organisms, growth is from external or extrinsic growth. So growth is inside in living organism, therefore growth cannot be taken as a defining property of living organism. Is it clear? Is it clear, everybody? Guys, in majority of organisms such as higher animals, that is human beings, and higher plants and all those things, growth and reproduction are mutually exclusive even. That is, growth takes place, reproduction takes place. They are two different things. Just imagine the condition of amoeba. Just imagine the condition of amoeba. Amoeba just increases in its size by duplicating nucleus, cytoplasm, cell membrane, all those, not cell membrane, plasma membrane, all those things. It will enlarge itself. So it is actually a form of growth. The same way as the amoeba grows, what happens? Finally, it divides into two daughter cells. That is an example for reproduction. So in case of unicellular organism, growth and reproduction are connected together, or they are synonymous with growth. Reproduction is synonymous with growth. Cell division is synonymous with growth. That is similar to growth and reproduction. Whereas in higher plants and animals, reproduction occurs differently, growth occurs differently. Growth occurs by the dividing of the cell. Reproduction occurs due to the formation and fusion of gamete. Is it clear? Under which it is observed in all living organisms have to explained, then we understand that it is a characteristic of living system. A dead organism cannot grow. Previous year AIPMT question. Read the following statements and choose the incorrect option. There they have given like a dead organism can grow. So a dead organism cannot grow. Those who have the NCERT, please write it AIPMT question. Reproduction is a characteristic of living organism in multicellular organism. Reproduction refers to the production of progeny possessing features more or less similar to those of parents. Invariably and implicitly, we refer to sexual reproduction. In case of higher animals and higher plants, reproduction is by means of sexual means. That is by the formation of a female egg and a male sperm. So this is the male gamete and this is the female gamete. By the fertilization, it leads to the formation of zygote. Fungi multiply and spread easily due to the millions of asexual spores they produce. In lower organisms like yeast and hydra, budding. Okay, so guys, please mark this. Yeast and hydra, you see budding. In case of fungi reproduces asexually by spore formation. Fungi reproduces by spore formation. Lower organisms like yeast and hydra reproduces by budding. Flatworms, that is especially planaria, they have a high true regeneration capacity. They are true regenerating organism. For example, okay, for example, guys, this is a planaria. Okay, you suppose this is a planaria. If I am cutting this planaria into three, what happens? One part will be like this. Another part would be like this. Another part would be like this. You have studied in your 10th standard. So this part would grows like this. The whole organism, it would grow like this or organism. This part also holds organism. This part also transforms into a whole organism. So they have the true regeneration capacity. True regeneration capacity is seen in flatworms. That is, planaria is an example for a flatworm. Okay, about flatworms and all we would study in the chapter Animal Kingdom. Yes, very good. Each part grows into the whole organism. A fragmented organism regenerates the lost part of the body and becomes a new organism. Guys, repeated at least 20-25 times repeated question. Okay, please mark this, at least 20-25 times repeated question. Oh my god. Yes. The fungi, filamentous algae and the protonema of mosses all multiply by fragmentation. Previous year NEET question, BHU paper question, NEET question even. Okay. What is the similarity between fungi, filamentous algae and protonema of mosses? When you start doing MCQs of previous year and all, you would definitely find these questions over there. Fungi, filamentous algae and protonema of mosses all multiply by fragmentation. All multiply by fragmentation. When it comes to unicellular organisms like bacteria, unicellular algae or amoeba, reproduction is synonymous with growth. Okay, reproduction is synonymous with growth in unicellular alga, in bacteria or in amoeba. Growth and reproduction are synonymous with each other. They are synonymous with each other. Okay, that is increase in the number of cells. That is actually reproduction. Unicellular organism, increase in the number is reproduction. Increase in the number, that itself is growth. Is it clear for everybody? Abhijit? Is it clear? Yes. We have already defined growth as equivalent to increase in the cell number of mass. However, we notice that in single cell organism, we are not very clear about the usage of the two terms growth and reproduction. Further, there are many organisms such as mules, sterile worker bees, infertile human couples. Okay, mules, sterile worker bees, infertile human couples, etc. are incapable of reproduction. Okay, so these organisms such as mules, sterile worker bees and infertile human couples are unable to reproduce by itself. Hence reproduction cannot be considered as an inclusive defining feature. Okay, because non-living object is capable of replicating or reproducing by itself. Another characteristic of life is metabolism. All living organisms are made up of chemicals. All living organisms are made up of chemicals, that is small and big, belonging to various classes, sizes, functions, etc., are constantly being made and changed into some other biomolecules. These conversions are chemical reactions or metabolic reaction. There are thousands of metabolic reactions occurring simultaneously inside all living organisms. Okay, more than 1,000 types of metabolic reactions are taking place inside the living body, be they are unicellular or multicellular. Many different metabolic reactions are taking place. Okay, all animals, plants, fungi, microbes exhibit metabolism. This is the definition for metabolism. The sum total of all chemical reactions occurring inside our body is known as metabolism. The sum total of all chemical reaction occurring in our body is called metabolism. Non-living objects exhibit metabolism. Metabolic reactions, okay? Yes, metabolism is classified into catabolism and anabolism, as you have done in your detailed lectures. Okay, catabolism and anabolism. Anabolism means building up, catabolism means breaking down. No non-living object exhibit metabolism, but the thing is, like, metabolism can be demonstrated outside the body in cell-free systems. Metabolism is not only taking place. We can include metabolism as the a defining characteristic of growth, but the reason is like metabolic reactions can be taking place, or metabolic reactions can take place outside the body in cell-free systems also, performed in a test tube, is neither living or non-living. Hence, while metabolism is a defining feature without exception, isolated metabolic reactions in vitro are not living things but surely living reaction. Therefore, cellular organization of the body is also a defining feature of life forms. Is that clear? Is it clear? Okay. In vitro means in the laboratories, in vitro fertilization and all you will come across. Okay, you will study about it in detail. The sperm and the ovum from a male and a female are collected and they are allowed to fertilize in the laboratories in a stimulated condition as if inside our body itself. This same condition of female reproductive tract would be made out culturally in a laboratory or in a lab, and these gametes are made to fuse together inside the laboratory to form zygote. So zygote can be formed outside the body also in such a condition maintained as if inside a body. That is why metabolism also cannot always be considered as a defining feature of life form. Perhaps the most obvious and technically complicated feature of living organism is the ability to sense the surrounding, self-consciousness, and respond to the environmental stimuli, which could be physical, chemical, or biological. Plants respond to external factors like water, light, temperature, and other organisms. All organisms from the prokaryote to the most complex eukaryotes can sense and respond to environmental cues. Photoperiod affect reproduction in seasonal breeders, both plants and animals, but especially photoperiod comes in case of plants. About this photoperiod and relation with reproduction and all, you will study in the chapter of plants. Okay, all organisms handle chemicals entering their body, are aware of the surrounding. Human being, this is a very important statement in the NCERT. Human being is the only organism who is aware of himself, that is have a self-consciousness. Previous year NEET MCQ. Guys, NEET MCQ for entrance exams and all, all questions would directly comes from NCERT only. Read NCERT line by line, by heart, inside line by line itself. Okay, photo period in seasonal breeder like animals only. For example, in case of dog and all, in a particular season only they would be able to interbreed among themselves. Is there is any such case in human beings? No, right? At any month, at any time, human beings can undergo reproduction. So, in case of certain seasonal breeders, what are seasonal breeders? They are capable of reproduction only during one part of their lifetime. That is only in one part of a year. Okay, but in plants can undergo photoperiodism due to certain environmental temperature, light conditions. Yes, is it clear? Yes, Vismaya. Prokaryote and eukaryotic. Prokaryote and eukaryotic. Prokaryote means what? Prokaryote means they don't have a well-defined nucleus. Okay, they don't have a well-defined nucleus. For example, a bacterial cell, their genetic material is simply situated in the cytoplasm. Okay, their genetic material is simply situated. They don't have a nuclear membrane. No nucleus, no nuclear membrane. No nucleus, no nuclear membrane. Whereas in case of eukaryotic organism, what happens? In animal cell, they have a well-defined nucleus. In a plant cell, they have a well-defined nucleus. They have a well-defined nucleus. Okay, so that is the difference between a prokaryotic and a eukaryotic organism. Okay, so that's the difference between prokaryotic and eukaryotic. Is it clear? That's due to their genetic makeup, their habitats, their morphological structures, their anatomical features, everything. Okay. Yes, animals too have consciousness, but not at all times. Okay, even they have self-consciousness, but as per our NCERT, it is being told like human being is the only organism who is aware of himself, yet they haven't corrected the NCERT. Okay. Animals also have self-consciousness, but for our exam when it comes, we have to follow this statement only. Whatever things given in the NCERT is our final word for class 11th and class 12th. Okay. When it comes to human beings, it is more difficult to define the living state. We observe patients lying in coma in hospital, virtually supported. Guys, in case of animals, in case of plants and all those things, we can use this feature such as consciousness. We can use this structure such as cellular organization, metabolism, all those things to distinguish themselves from a living and a non-living material. But when it comes to human beings, in case of human beings, we are in a confusion like whether self-consciousness are obeyed by all organisms or not. There is an exception. For example, the patients lying in coma in hospital, they are also living, but do they have the property to conscious? They are conscious about the surrounding, but they don't have the ability to respond to the external stimuli. Self-consciousness means when you are going with your finger to touch a thorn, or when you're going to touch with your finger on a fire, you will do that for one time only, right? After that one time, we won't do that. After we get the thought or we get the response to that, we won't do it again, because we know that if I insert my finger in my fire, it will get burned. If we doesn't have self-consciousness, one time we will do that, second time also we will go with our finger near the fire. Since we have the property of self-consciousness, we are aware like fire can cause burn, an accident can cause huge damages. Yes, animals are also self-conscious. Even certain plants are also self-conscious. They can respond to the external stimulus in a very good manner. And the most common example is the touch me not plant. Have you all seen Mimosa pudica? Touch me not plant. Touch me not plant, when they are touched, what happens? They swell up their leaves or they'll close their leaves. That's also a type of self-consciousness which is caused or shown by plants. But as our NCERT demands for, consciousness is the defining property, and human beings are the only organism which are capable of self-consciousness. When this kind of a question come for your NEET exam, you have to go with human beings only. Otherwise, you won't get your marks, because NCERT would only be taken for valuation. Yes, insect eating plants are also self-consciousness. Is Abhijit not in the class? Naka Sumak not in the class? I'm not getting any response from these people. Bhala Subramaniam, these people, they were initially in the beginning, but right now, in higher classes, you will able to know that the living phenomena are due to underlying interaction. Okay. Similarly, properties of cellular organelles are not present in the molecular constituents of the organelle, but arise as a result of interaction among the yes, molecular components comprising the organelle. Guys, in your lower classes, you might have studied about this particular thing, right? About the cells. A group of cells unite together to form tissues to perform a similar function. Yes, nobody is there. Only a few students who are regular is only there. A group of tissues common what? A group of tissues together forms organ. A group of organ together forms the organ system. So this is the levels of organization. Okay, level of organization, and finally a group of organ system together forms the organism. Right, everyone? So you are aware about it, I hope. So this definition is very important. Living organisms are self-replicating, evolving, self-regulating interactive systems capable of responding to an external stimuli. Okay, so self-replicating, evolving, self-regulating interactive system which are capable of responding to an external stimulus is what we called as a living organism. Next is diversity in living world. If you look around, you will see a large variety of living organism. You would see a large variety of living organism, be it a potted plant, insect, birds, your pets or other animals and plants. There are also several organisms that you cannot see with your naked eye, but they are all around you. If you were to increase the area that you make observations in, the range and variety of organisms that you would see increase, obviously, if you were to visit a dense forest. Very, very important, very important NEET MCQ question. The number of species that are known and described ranges between 1.7 to 1.8 million. 1.7 to 1.8 million is the number of species that were described and known to us. Okay, if we get time, definitely we will read taxonomical aids also. Okay, as a priority, I won't be explaining in too much, but I would be reading the NCERT. Okay, because you would be taken class in detail of taxonomical aids tomorrow. Then you would be able to understand very clearly because diagrams have been included there. So guys, this is an important question, so please bookmark it. Okay, 1.7 to 1.8 million, very important. There are millions of plants and animals in the world. We know the plants and animals in our own area by their local names only. So guys, in my area, I would be calling one plant like by this name A. In northern part of India, suppose in my area, I'll call a plant as A. The same plant would be called as B. When this chapter gets complete, I managed to take the whole chapter, but I don't know whether we would complete based on the time limit we would end. Okay, I would be calling a plant as A. The same plant would be called B by Vismaya in your area or in your locality. The same plant would be called by the name C in case of Om Prakash nearby areas. Okay, so that may create actually a confusion. That may actually create a huge confusion among ourselves. So there are needs that an organism have to be known by the single name all over the world. For that, Carl Linnaeus introduced the technique of binomial nomenclature. Are you aware about it? Binomial nomenclature. Okay, so as stated earlier, there are millions of plants and animals in the world. We know that the plants and animals are known by their local names. These local names may vary from one place to another and within a country to country, and they may create a huge confusion among the people. They would create a huge confusion among the people. So there is a need to standardize the naming of all living organisms such that the particular organism is known by. So there is a need for standardizing the naming of living organism such that a particular organism is known by the same name all over the world, and that process is known as process of naming the organism is known as nomenclature. Okay, nomenclature or naming is only possible when the organism is described correctly and we know to what organism the name is attached to. Okay, so first to identify, first step in taxonomy is identification. First step is identification. We have to identify What organism is that? Is that clear? So first we have to identify, then we have to classify, then at last we have to get it nomenclatured, or we have to get it named. Is that clear? Yes. In order to facilitate the study, a number of scientists have established procedures to assign a scientific name to each known organism. This is acceptable to biologists all over the world for plant scientific name. This is also very important for plants. For plants, the scientific names are given by International Code of Botanical Nomenclature ICBN. This is previous year NEET MCQ. Okay, previous year NEET MCQ. ICBN stands for, very important, International Code for Botanical Nomenclature. International Code for Botanical Nomenclature. Botanical means plants, right? So this organization ICBN is controlling the nomenclature of the plants. Whereas animal taxonomists go with International Code of Zoological Nomenclature. ICZN for naming the organisms. Okay, guys, just remember, if I am a taxonomist, and when I was going for a trip, I suddenly came across a plant, or I suddenly came across a substance which I have not witnessed earlier, then suddenly what I would be doing, I would be Googling that particular thing to get details about this. But I could not find any details about the same, but I got some similarities of that organism with some other plants and all those things. So first what I would be doing, I would be taking out that plant from that area or that substance, I would be collecting the sample. Then I would be coming out for my laboratory, I would be coming to my lab and I would be examining it in detail, and I would be first of all identifying what is it similar to. It is similar to this particular organism, this is similar to this plant, this is similar to this, its flowers are similar to this plant, its leaves are almost close to this plant. So I would be finding out the similarities between those plants, and then I would be identifying its family, its genus and all those things. And after doing all those procedures, I got or came to a conclusion that this is a new plant, and I have discovered a new plant, and this is belonging to this family. And right now I have to name this plant. So I have written my name along with some other name. I would be devising my own name. Okay, I would be devising some other name, and I would be adding my name also towards that. And since I have done the experiment with a plant, I should go to ICBN for finalizing the name of that plant. If I was doing a laboratory experiment with an animal, I should go with ICZN for naming that organism. Okay, description of any organism should enable the people in any part to arrive at the same name. Biologists universally accepted two components are there, as we have already discussed about binomial nomenclature. A binomial nomenclature name has two components, a generic name and a specific epithet. This is, you have to write it like this. This is also a previous year NEET MCQ question. From this area, huge questions have been asked for previous year. Is it clear? So two components are there in a biological name. A biological name comprises of a generic name and a specific epithet. So the system of providing a name with two components is known as binomial nomenclature. Binomial nomenclature. This name was given by Carl Linnaeus. Guys, when we pronounce this name is very important. This was asked for long years back Ames exam. Binomial nomenclature was put forward by Carl Linnaeus was there. The options was like CARL was there. Carl Linnaeus was there. Carlos Linnaeus was there. Carl Linnaeus was there, and some other name was also there. So guys, whenever we would be studying like binomial nomenclature was introduced by Carl Linnaeus. So definitely you will go with this option. Most of the students in that year gone with this option. But in NCERT it is clearly mentioned. Okay, the word we have to pronounce, we pronounce it as Carl Linnaeus, but his actual name is Carolus Linnaeus. So Carolus Linnaeus have to be marked as the answer. if this kind of a question come for your exam. Okay, so we are now going to look out what are the different rules for writing. So this is actually the Mangifera indica. Guys, since Mangifera indica is actually a scientific name which was proposed by Linnaeus, in remember or in accordance with Linnaeus, we would write Linn, Lin at last of Mangifera indica. Okay, so in this name, Mangifera represents the first name represents the first word represents the genus, and indica is a particular species name or the specific epithet. The rule is like biological names are generally in Latin and they are written in italics. Okay, they are typed in italics. When written by hand, they have to be underlined separately. Okay, and why they are obtained from Latin? Because Latin is a dead language. Guys, Hindi, Malayalam, English, they are not dead language, because as new words, new terms, new letters are all being discovered or being introduced in the dictionaries and all those things. So Latin is a dead language. Whatever have been described till now, that is only going to be there. No other further discoveries is going to happen in the Latin language. That is why biological names are generally in Latin, so that it would not change at any cost. The first word in a biological name represents the genus, while the second component represents the specific epithet. Both the words in a biological name, when handwritten, are separately underlined, or when they are printed, they have to be printed in italics. The first word, that is a genus name, should start with a capital letter. Specific epithet should start with a small letter. Is that clear? I'm not receiving any kind of response today in the chat box. What happened, everybody? Everybody is sleeping there. Today chat box is like silent. Only 2 students have been interacting with me for so long. Yes, I think others have left. Okay, that is what dead language I have already explained, right? Dead language is like there whatever words have been described till now, there won't be any more further discoveries of any alphabets. There won't be any addition of any words, new words to a Latin dictionary or something. Okay, but in case of Hindi, English, Malayalam, all those things, what happened? There are chances the dictionaries have been revised every year, because some new words are coming. They would be start, because people can discover new words. But in case of Latin language, it is dead language. There are no chances of adding a new word or any new letters to the dictionaries or to the vocabulary. Name of the author or name of the author appears after a specific epithet. For example, in the biological name Mangifera indica, in remembrance of Carl Linnaeus, we would write Mangifera indica Linn. Because why? What's the reason why we are telling like there are no chances? Because that is actually something which is said. This Latin language long years back, okay, Latin language and everything have been said long years back. So people are now generally going with that particular trend, and I'll go with the exact reason. If I get it somewhere, I would definitely tell. We usually tell like Latin is a dead language, so every biological names are written in Latin. If I get an actual reason, I will tell you. But I actually doesn't find. I also had this, but actually I doesn't find it somewhere. Okay, if I get it somewhere, I'll refer some books also. If I get it, I would tell you why Latin is considered as a dead language. Okay, so it indicates that this species was first discovered by Linnaeus. So after, you have to go with the classification. What is classification? It is a process by which anything is grouped into convenient categories. Anything is convenient categories based on easily observable character. Okay, because we can easily recognize groups such as plants or animals, whether it is a dog, cat, or an insect, based on the morphological character. That is a type of classification. Okay, so similarly, suppose we were to say mammals, we would of course think of animals with external. What is mammals? What is mammals? If a small kid comes and asks you what is mammal, then the thing that suddenly comes to your mind is like an animal that have a long ears, that have an external ears, they have body hairs. These are certain features which comes to your mind directly. External ears, body hairs are all seen in mammals. Okay, when if we try to talk of wheat plant, the picture that comes to your mind is of wheat plant and not rice or any other plant. What is wheat? Or whenever if I'm given a project, if I give you a project about the detailed study of wheat, what you guys would be thinking? What you would be first of all coming to your mind? The image of wheat plant only, right? Your mind will not, the picture of a mango tree or a jackfruit tree or a banana plant or nothing would come to your mind directly, right? The wheat plant, when we are talking of wheat plant, what happens? Wheat plant image would come. Exactly, I forgot about the point. Yes, thank you so much. Mammals, they have mammary glands. They have mammary gland, which is actually the most important points. Okay, the scientific term for these category is known as taxa or taxon. So based on the characteristic, living organisms can be classified into different taxa. This process of classification is called taxonomy. Okay, what is taxonomy? Classification of organism into different levels. Okay, different levels. So characterization, identification, classification, and nomenclature are the four basic steps which are involved in taxonomy. Okay, is that clear for everybody? So I'm underlining only those points which you guys need to refer while you are studying. Okay, the branch of biology or a branch of taxonomy that deals with the study of different kinds of organisms and their diversity is known as systematics. Okay, systematics is a study of different types of organisms and their diversity. The word systematics is derived from the Latin word systema, which means a systematic arrangement of organism. Linnaeus used Systema Naturae as the title of publication. So guys, this can be a question that come for your exam. Systema Naturae is a book which is written by, called Linnaeus. Okay, Systema Naturae. Linnaeus, the book of Linnaeus, Systema Naturae. One more book is there, but in an NCERT, this is only mentioned. So, Systema Naturae is a book which is published by Linnaeus. Is that clear? Yes, what is the difference between taxonomy and systematic? Taxonomy is something that is by the identification. For taxonomical study, we have to first of all identify that plant, we have or an animal or that organism, then we have to characterize it, then we have to classify it, and then we have to name it. Okay, these are the different character or the steps which are involved in a taxonomy. Systematics is a branch of taxonomy or biology that is used to study the aspect of different organisms and their diversity. In taxonomy, we would be going into deep with only one organism, but systematics, variety of organism, their diverse nature. Okay. Yes. Next is a taxonomic category. Taxonomic category, yesterday's class itself, you have studied K, P, C of GS. What is KPC of GS? Kingdom, phylum, class, order, family, genus, species. Okay, so guys, this is the increasing. Look at the arrow. The arrow is over here. This is the increasing character. This is decreasing. Okay, Vismay, we'll try, or else we would have a separate lecture on how to start your 11th effectively. Okay, definitely we would do across that. So, taxonomic category and taxonomic hierarchy. We are arranging the organisms like kingdom, phylum, class, order, family, genus, and species. Right? So, guys, the only thing which you have to remember in this case is like a group of species. Species is actually the basic unit of classification. Okay, species is the basic structural and the functional unit of classification. Okay, what is actually a species? A group of closely related animals that are able to interbreed among themselves. Okay, species means those animals that are able to interbreed among themselves, and hence they are considered as the basic unit of classification. A group of species together form a genus. A group of genus forms a family. A group of family organized to form order. A group of order forms class. A group of class forms phylum. A group of phylums forms kingdom. So kingdom is actually the highest taxonomic category. Kingdom is the highest taxonomic category. So each category refers to a unit of classification, that is rank, which is commonly known as taxon. Plural is taxa. This was also an MCQ question for AIPMT, I suppose. AIPMT or AIMS. Taxon differs from taxa in being the singular. Taxa is plural, taxon is singular. So that is also an MCQ question which can be asked because it is given in NCERT. We cannot just counteract with that. Okay, clear. So, species, genus, family, order, class, phylum or division, and kingdom. Guys, the similar phylum in case of plants, you will call them as what? Division. Okay. Guys, for example, phylum you have studied in your 9th standard. Porifera, phylum Porifera, phylum Coelenterata, phylum Echinodermata, phylum Platyhelminthes, phylum Ashhelminthes, all those things you have studied in your 9th standard. Division also you studied, but at that time you haven't studied like that. Angiosperms, gymnosperms, pteridophytes, all those things you have studied, right? So they are actually division. First of all, we are going to have a detailed study about species. What is a species? What are different things that is coming under the species? Okay, closely related species. Closely related ones. Okay, closely related organism coming together comes under the species. For example, let us consider Mangifera indica, Solanum tuberosum, Panthera leo. All the three names, indica, tuberosa and leo, represent a specific epithet, while the first three names represents a genera. Okay, so species is the basic unit of classification. Species is actually the basic unit of classification. And more specificity in characters. Okay, basic and more specific. Basic in character and they are more specific also. Is that clear? Yes. Phylum in plants is known as division. 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 Okay. Whereas the same division is called as phylum in animals. Next, genus. So we have already discussed a group of species together comprises a genus. So genera is a group of related species which are more characters in common. Okay. For example, lion, leopard, tiger. All these things have so a little common feature, so all they are coming under the genus Panthera, but their species are different. Panthera leo is lion, Panthera pardus is leopard, Panthera tigris is tiger. So their species are different, but their genera is the same. So thank you guys. Study up to the topic that we have